I want to share some updates with you guys on my new pro golf tour. I just had a phone call with one of my best friends, old college teammate, roommate, and former professional golfer, and he had a lot of interesting insights on my project here. Regarding the vision of the tour and the direction we're heading, it's changing day by day, right? And I'm doing my best to keep you guys updated with it. There's a lot of people interested, a lot of new ideas coming in. At the end of the day, it's my idea, and I'm going to do what I see fit. But I am considering, opinions from outside sources that I trust and have faith in. And so at first I was thinking of this needs to look exactly like PGA Tour because I want to have high level players on it and I don't want them to feel like they're participating in something like, the TGL or the Live or some completely different format that doesn't feel like pro golf. And I'm somewhat, shifting that perspective right now because the reality is if I create a carbon copy of the PGA Tour, same format, same field sizes, same cut structure, there already is that on the Korn Ferry Tour, right? And the purses are extremely elevated. I think they're 400 or 450 grand purses each week. And no one watches, right? No one's sitting down, no one's even watching the PGA Tour 4 days a week, 6 hours of coverage every day, even though they're the best players in the world, because that's just not the way people's consumption habits work anymore, at least not the majority of the golf audience that I'm going to be targeting, which is probably going to skew a little bit younger, of course. People watch YouTube, they watch bite-sized clips of stuff, they want to see the highlights and the good parts. And I think if I build something that looks really similar to the PGA Tour and just, have the arrogance to think I'm going to compete with them, I'm going to get smashed, right? The second I have some buzz and they notice what I'm doing, they'll just either copy what I'm doing or try to buy it out or create some way to stop what I'm doing. I'm not dumb to think that, they're never going to notice this and they're never going to care if I pull any attention away from them. They will. They've already shown, a willingness to go to war with somebody like Liv, who tried to do the exact same thing. And Liv had unlimited money and was kind of unsuccessful, I'd say, at, unearthing the golf scene and taking the majority share of fans over to their thing. So to think that I could come in and do something better than that, I don't think so. So to differentiate myself, it does need to have the storytelling is the backbone of this, right? There's certainly already high quality, world class golf on display, wherever you want to watch it. PGA Tour, Live Tour, TGL, it's out there. So just creating another similar thing is not going to differentiate me and give this the success that I'm really looking for it to have because it needs attention and eyeballs for the players to actually earn life-changing money, right? Attention is currency, and if no one's watching it, it doesn't matter how good the level of play is. Guys aren't going to play for anything. That's what we're already seeing. All the mini tours out there below the Korn Ferry Tour, guys are incredibly talented. I've been showing you guys whiteboard videos for a month now explaining that, and they still have nothing to play for because nobody cares because no one knows the players on the tour. There's no storytelling. There's no, and just simply TV coverage isn't enough. No one's going to watch a player they've never heard of over a household name player, even though they might be similarly talented and hit amazing shots and shoot low scores. No one's going to watch them if they don't know them from Adam. So my job is to build something that highlights the stories of the players on the tour in a really compelling, raw, emotional format, which I know I can do because I had tremendous experience doing that with my own personal brand. Now I just need to copy paste for several hundred players worldwide to be involved with my tour and get fans invested in and interested in their personal life stories outside of just golf. And so I think, the model of having 4 days of coverage and 6 hours a day, it doesn't even work on the PGA Tour with the best players in the world. No one's watching all of that stuff. They just want to see the end, the final nine on Sunday. I think I could create a compressed episode style of content and maybe keep it away. At first I was thinking, major TV contract. Now I'm thinking not so much because they control you. Once you're under the umbrella of an NBC Peacock or a Golf Channel or an ESPN, they're going to control the narrative 100%. And it's no longer my vision and it's no longer my tour. They would pretty much own the rights to it. And I'm not sure that that's something that I want to see happen because this is supposed to be disruptive to the industry and different than what's already out there. And I just think they're going to meddle with it and it might not turn out how I want. This could change over time. This is just how I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking we lean more heavily into the direction of producing it on YouTube and producing it and distributing it on YouTube. Streaming platforms, sure, I could see live streaming, the actual tournaments, but maybe compressing into like 2 hours at the end of each tournament have guys mic'd up in the tournaments, have the storylines followed off the golf course for some of the players that I know are, camera friendly, good personalities, good players, and are going to represent our tour well, and bring in positive attention to it, and bring in other players that want to be involved that would be good for the tour. So those choices are very important, but I do believe a more highlight oriented, compressed version of the storyline unfolding over the 3 or 4 day tournament, and some of the off the course stuff, and some of the players that had the most interesting weeks on and off the golf course, highlighting that, and just making it a combination of high level golf, but also very compelling storytelling. And this happens for two reasons. One, when the prize funds are high enough that the guys are actually playing for money that they've never had a chance to play before. So mini tour players, commonly compete for $7,000, $10,000, maximum $20,000 first place checks, except for very few rare instances where it's higher than that. But it's not a lot of money. Your burn rate as a pro golfer is probably 5 to 10K a month, depending on if you're competing full time or part time. So even a tournament win might only float you 2 months in some cases, and you're back to square one with zero money in the bank and no world status anywhere. So to give guys that are used to that a place to play for $50,000 first place check, $100,000 first place check, if there's enough attention and eyeballs on this, and enough fans demanding more content and more tournaments and more behind the scenes coverage of the players, which I believe will happen over time, the marketing attack is going to become way bigger than me. Right now it's just me. I'm making YouTube videos on my own personal channel, my own personal Instagram, convoluting what I do separate from this tour with my other brand deals and coaching. It's all mixed together with this tour stuff as well. Totally not as effective as it will be in the future when there's an entire team allocated to this, creating a social media strategy, creating separate accounts just for this tour, and having other people besides me helping run it, and then of course the players as well. This is definitely going to be a social media friendly tour. I want the players posting about it. I want the players talking about it. I want that exponential buzz that can happen when you get a lot of powerful people all talking about the same thing. This is the same way influencer marketing works. They bring together a dozen of the biggest names in Instagram golf or YouTube golf, and they put them in one place at the same time to talk about a product launch, right? A new Callaway driver, or a new, tailor-made golf shoe, and it's very effective. You put together 20 different people, each with a million reach of their own, and it's not only 20 million reach, but it's an exponential effect that compounds when you have people in real time talking about the same thing. So same concept on this tour, and there's going to be a lot of crossover from things I've learned in marketing myself as an athlete, and it's going to carry over into marketing this tour and teaching the other athletes on the tour how to market themselves and market the tour as well. So it can be done. The attention necessary to create the money in the prize funds, both through brand partnerships and sponsorships, as well as, whether or not we run a similar model to what I talked about before, where the players have some level of involvement, if they so choose, in selling tickets for the tour that also have perks and discounts, for our brand partnerships, equipment and apparel and things like that. Whether or not these players create a significant amount of income from that or not, and if that's a part of the future tour or not, I can't totally say right now. My vision on that is changing by the day as I consider other options that just may be a little bit of a simpler route, or there's so many ways to go about fundraising and generating funds to create different business ideas and bring them to life. And I'm trying to consider all options with that. And there are a lot of good ideas out there right now. So I want to thank you guys, everyone that's been contributing and watching and listening, and in the school community, which is linked in the description here. If you guys would like to join that, it's free. It's where the conversation is ongoing, and I'm more interactive with the people sharing their ideas. And I'm hosting Zoom calls as well to hear your guys' ideas on a live call. So that's all going on. But anyway, I guess my point was that I want this to be storytelling and emotional, and I want it to be fun and engaging for the fans, because the fans only care if the players care, right? The reason fans don't care about your average PGA Tour event on any given week is because the players don't care, and they know that. There's very few events, the majors, that everybody tunes in for. And so the players definitely will care on my tour if the money's high enough, if they're able to play for life-changing money and it's a fun tour and they're well taken care of with access to PTs and mental coaching and all the things I've been talking about, which I do have the intention of providing to my guys. And I think I have the capability of doing it because of all the connections I have in the health and wellness space and with my entire, golf network in real life and on social media. I think I definitely can follow through on these promises, but I think it's going to be a place that the guys want to play. It's fun. They're able to get, exposure for their own brand, even if they don't ultimately wind up earning a significant amount of money as players. Just having a personal brand will be a monetizable asset that they can do what they choose with after their playing career or simultaneously to their playing career, as I have done. But I also think you know, the fans will tap in when they realize that these guys really care about these tournaments. They need to win. They will change their lives if they win this 80K first place check in one of our events, for instance. And that will show on camera and be way more compelling, in my opinion, than just your average any given week PGA Tour event. But I also think it needs to be somewhat of a different format, whether there's a team component sometimes or just, crazy bonuses for things like, the best shot or the best, um, you know, the best final nine in the final round or the best final round of the tournament. Sure, some of that can be interesting, but I'm thinking it needs to be radically different, but it needs to be understandable and something that the average fan can digest versus like, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus or throwing shade on anything existing in the golf world. It's all cool. And I have respect for anyone trying to be entrepreneurial and create a new business model and disrupt an industry. It's all good. It's paving the way for someone like myself to do it, and I'll pave the way for other people to do it. But I just don't think there's anything out there that's that groundbreaking right now. And I think the fan reaction to stuff shows. It probably, if anything, it's stuff like the YouTube Creator Classic that just happened yesterday, and Good having hosted some $100,000 YouTube golf tournaments before. I think those things are really moving the needle. And the Grass League out in Arizona, like there is some cool stuff going on where people are combining different formats and entertainment and covering it, heavily on YouTube. It can work, and I think what I'd be providing is a higher level of play than any of those existing things are, but a similarly entertaining format. And that begs the question of getting people involved, potentially from the reality TV world. Maybe a producer from something that's not even related to golf, like The Real Housewives or I don't know, The Bachelor or something like that. There's so many, you know, this is a dual sided value proposition. High level golf for sure, and compelling storylines about players playing for money that will change their lives. But it also needs to be fun and entertaining. And there's a place to go play if you want to be dead serious and continue to not make any money on things like mini tours and PGA Tour America, stuff like that. I'm not going to stop anyone from doing that. And if you feel strongly that that's your best chance to advance your career and that's what you want to do, great. I get it. I did that myself as well. This is going to be something separate that I want a major emphasis on fun, on personalities, and on shareable content, right? YouTube episodes, like I said, if they're compressed to maybe 2 hours for an entire week's worth of action, and there's storylines you can follow from the guys coming into the week and how they've been playing previously and what's going on in their private personal lives, and then how they wind up showing up in the final round on Sunday and battling it out down the stretch and somebody wins. That's great stuff, and I want to see that, and I do believe I can build a platform that provides that, and I do believe the fans will engage with that. And as soon as we tick those boxes of major fan interest and engagement and great players and great storylines developing that is televised, whether on a main channel or just, like I said, YouTube, something like that will be worked out in the future. But I guess I'm sharing all these updates, partially just to talk through my own process on this, because that's part of how I connect the dots. I have to vocally say things out loud, get them out of my head, and that's how it clicks in for me, and I decide the next direction I'm going to go. And then also want to share some updates regarding the team behind this. I realize what I have here. I'm not naive and thinking like, oh, this might work. Like, I'm not doubting that it will work, and I'm not doubting that I'm the guy that will make it work, and I'm the visionary behind this that will push it forward. And I don't say that, arrogantly. I just say that because I know who I am, and I know the experience I bring to the table on the player's side, having pursued this my entire life. on the relationship side, knowing, 1,000 plus other pro golfers through my decade of experience out there and in college prior to that. And I have the marketing experience, and I've proven I understand how to gain attention online. And I have a relatively positive reputation in the golf industry, and it's long-standing. I'm not some new flash in the pan kid that just went viral last week following some trend. Like, I've been doing this. You can go back 8 years and find videos of me speaking in a similar way and conducting myself in a similar way. So I have total confidence that I can bring this vision to life. But what I need is integrators. I need a right hand man. And of course, I'm going to need a whole team of people to help run the tournaments, to help source the golf courses to host the tournaments at, to help, interview and train players on the way to conduct themselves and be a part of our tour and the best way to take advantage of our tour model and get the most out of the training for social media and the training with physical people and mental coaching and the best way to help the tour grow and make this a win-win for everyone involved, players, fans, and the people owning and operating the tour. We all want to work in tandem together. And I only know so much, right? I only have so much experience. Like I haven't built a business, right? I don't own something else that's taught me all the things that I would need to know to do this successfully by myself. So I'm aware I need to hire and outsource lots of stuff. And I'm also aware that that will make or break this. An idea only takes you so far, and I can only do so much. I'm going to be, it's comparable to like, Elon Musk and his vision to go to Mars, right? He's the visionary. He's the one that walks in the room and says, all right, guys, humans are supposed to be multiplanetary. We are going to inhabit Mars and we're doing it by this date. And here's how. And then he doesn't waste his time on spreadsheets and emails and replying to every DM and comment on his posts, right? He's the visionary. He's moving the needle at a macro level and directing the chess pieces underneath him to help get the tasks done and take the daily actions that lead to the end goal that everybody mutually shares and agrees with. I need to create that same infrastructure here if I stand a chance at being successful, because the way these first 3 weeks have gone has been completely overwhelming. The only way you guys are seeing my face pop up every day and you're getting DM replies and comment replies and emails and you're getting free school Zoom calls where I'm taking advice and, or taking the time to listen to your guys' opinions on different things. That's only coming from one person overextending himself, and that will not be sustainable in the long run. I'm very passionate about this and I want to do this, but I don't want to give myself a heart attack and gray hair in the process. And it's important to make sure I really vet and figure out who has the experience to fill the roles I need filled and who is all in. I only want people involved in this that are a fuck yeah. I don't want any half in, half out. This might work. I'm not sure. It's not going to work because we won't be an energetic match on it because I'm all in with this. And so I think, hopefully by just continuing to be myself and putting it out there every day, I will attract like energy and like-minded people, and it will just manifest and I'll find the right people to fill the right roles. But I also have to take a moment and pause here and decide exactly what that is. I need a fully fleshed out vision and business model and plan, and something that I can begin to actually show the people that are interested in working with me, let them digest it and decide whether or not on their end they want to be involved, and then I decide whether or not on my end they actually are the dream person that I want to work with in that role. So I really do look forward to finding, eventually the right hand man or woman, the type of person that's going to help kind of integrate my ideas and organize things on the business side and, set up the meetings and stuff with the people that ultimately come in and help fund this. And it's a multi-pronged process. And I think I'm all for moving fast, and I understand why I was trying to, move at lightning speed over the last couple of weeks and make announcements and start getting player applications and stuff. And I don't regret doing any of that because it's undeniable that we've created a wave already. And by getting lots of other people talking about this, it helps, right? I can only do so much sitting in the room by myself with a whiteboard and my laptop, trying to think of how to make this come to life. I can do a million times more and quicker by getting lots and lots of other people talking, but it also makes it more complicated, and it makes it, there's more noise and static out there, and not every idea is ultimately something that I'm going to bring to fruition. But I do appreciate, everyone that has an opinion and has something to say about this, and I want to continue welcoming that for sure. I want to try to be as relatable of a CEO and business owner as possible. I don't ever want, this to feel like I don't care what anyone has to say about. I do care. I care tremendously. The reason that I pivoted from the direction I was going a week ago is because of people reaching out and asking questions and sharing feedback on some of the original things I had put out there. So if I had, not shared some of the videos I previously shared, I would have never got to the place I'm in right now, which I believe is a very good place. So I'm going to continue with this model going forward of sharing a lot. I don't really feel like I'm in fear of oversharing my ideas and plans and somebody else copying it and ripping it off. Go ahead. Good luck. You do not want to compete with me. I promise you, you do not want to compete with me. I'm the guy that's going to make this happen. And so I'm not afraid of that necessarily. And anyway, I just want to continue. It's fun for me too. It's way more cool to have a community and hype surrounding something. And that's going to be massive. When we drop the first event and there's something you can actually engage with and watch and tell your friends about, I want it to blow up. It needs to catch fire for this to really get the type of attention that converts into money, that converts into players playing for life-changing purses. And again, it's cyclical, because then the more of that there is, then the more fans come in and hear like, wow, this is a tour where guys are like, this is emotional and intense. There's a lot going on the final 9 on Sundays where guys are trying to change their lives and they're mic'd up and you can really see how they feel. I just think we're going to get more out of the guys on this tour. There's only so much you can get from the players in the TGL and the LIV and the PGA Tour, because they're bought players at this point in their career. And I get it. Who wouldn't be? When you escalate to that level as a player and you're worth millions of dollars in endorsements alone, it's in your best interest and your family's best interest to kind of fall in line and not ruffle too many feathers, and to remain very brand friendly and sponsorable. I think what we're going to get with a lot of the guys on my tour is they're before that stage in life, and so they're less trained on extreme polished interviews and exactly how to conduct themselves on the course, and they're also less bought. They probably don't have as much sponsorship money in their pockets, and so there's not as many people controlling what they do and don't say, and the way that they dress and the way they present themselves and their social media. Like, I think it's going to be really fun and exciting for you guys. And so, as always, much appreciated all of your support, all the comments, all the likes, all the shares, all the outreach and DMs and emails. I'm doing my best to get to all of it. I know a lot of videographers have reached out. I know a lot of interested investors and sponsors have reached out. An insane amount of players have reached out, and I don't want you guys to ever misinterpret a non-response from me as me blowing someone off or not thinking that it was an important or good message. I want to read every message and every comment and every email, but again, it's something I'm going to have to work on hiring some help to get to, because it's already become unmanageable in a couple short weeks and we're growing by the day. So it's only going to get more challenging from here, and I will have a team helping me with that at some point. So I'll leave it at that for now. I appreciate your guys' support, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, peace.